or not what I was expecting when I woke up this morning. That's for sure. I was actually I knew it was going to be here for the loser match, and I thought I was going to be seeing MVP versus Team Secret because based on his results. So I'm pretty hyped to see CDEC versus Ehome, which, according to Matuma Man and according to him, everybody knows, two best teams in China. So one of them is going to a lower bracket in the main event, and that's going to be this rough start.
Turn to ban.
Well, we're going to find out how the two best teams draft as well, because it looks like we're going there now. So into the draft. Well, the first game here, or first match of the series is Ehome versus CDEC. Diva, you have a lot of notes in front of you.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
What's going on with your notes?
Well, I basically always write down all the drafts because that helps me remember the drafts in the game, and I write down like keynotes of the game so I can remember the games. But I also wrote down a little bit of the playstyle. I wrote down what I heard professional players talking when I was stalking them, basically. That
sounds like a little bit, yeah, TMZ, the paparazzi of Dota.
I'm just sitting right behind or right next to the tiers, like, what do I hear them say?
Can I have a look at your notes, please?
Can.
What have you got there?
Okay.
10 seconds
God
remaining.
Sucks match tie. That is one of my notes.
5 seconds remaining.
And how do you think that's going to affect Ehome versus CDEC game 1?
I think it's going to affect not them not at all, but a panel all the more, because tomorrow, I mean, God, come on. People are going to expect you socks to your tie. Are you prepared?
I've been thinking through my wardrobe ever since you brought it up during the break 10 minutes ago. I was like, what other socks can I wear that match my tie?
I mean, there's a call-out thread on Reddit on the front page calling out Blitzer socks, which are white, and ankle socks, which you saw. So, you know, socks are an important thing here. But for Ehome CDC, obviously, I wrote some stuff down as well. But the biggest thing that I have for Ehome actually, because the Ehome game was not shown on the mainstream.
No,
so
but
I casted it. I casted it, watched both.
You casted it. Well, that's, yeah, whatever, Ben. To be honest, I want to go with Sock Lady.
Sock Lady,
you didn't cast the game.
I didn't either watch the game, but I talked to professional players, pros that actually watched the game. And they thought, well, obviously nobody was expecting Ehome MVP to win, rather. And Ehome, Moon said, Brood fed. Basically, that was 11. That was playing Broodmother in the second game. He fed both games. He died 3 times before 5 minutes laning stage. Like
10 seconds remaining.
Not good for Ehome, and that's going to be something they have to improve for this series. I think.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Win this game. Ben, we might as well get your opinion since apparently you casted the game, whatever that means. But you know, if you can elaborate on Brood fed.
That game he actually did decently. He got return kills. The first game he played Faces Void. He actually did not look that comfortable on the hero. And
who played Faces?
They're all playing
Old 11.
And he got OD astraled into Arrow a few times, which can't really do that much about. So that kind of led to his demise. A key for most of the teams has been to not give Ehome their lone druid, considering how much success they've had, and it's never been
10 seconds remaining.
Also, Nature's Prophet has been kind of highly prioritized against Ehome. It was banned in one game.
5 seconds remaining.
MVP Phoenix first picked it in the other game. Ehome also don't really like the super stylish heroes, Invoker and OD. They have not picked up in either game until now.
The
last game, Invoker was 10th overall. Like, it just kind of skated by. It's like, oh, okay, MVP. You're just like, I'm just going to take it mid, no problem.
All right, so if I'm new to watching these two teams play, Ehome versus CDEC, gaming, of course, if you know, some people might have been able to watch CDEC earlier, but might have not caught Ehome. How do you sum up Ehome, Ben, Melanie?
Their laning phase is not actually the strongest, which is why I think MVP Phoenix actually dominated them in the first series. Remaining. But overall, they have a very unique playstyle from the other teams. They don't even know how Ehome is so good.
Remaining.
Like, why they just use these picks that no one else does, and they just win games when it looks like the strategy has no synergy at all.
So basically in China, most of the Chinese teams would say Ehome are a bit of 野路子. It means that they are
overrated.
No, it's not overrated.
Underrated.
野路子 means that they are a team that are not afraid to do something else that none of the Chinese teams are willing to try out or do in an official match. Because most Chinese teams are very known for being stable. We just do whatever we know will work and we just stick to it. But Ehome, you know, they like to draft, like we mentioned, Legion Commander support, a balance support. They're not afraid to use all these type of heroes.
Who do you credit for that in Ehome? Who's the crazy guy in the team?
Isn't it 7-1? I'd say who's their coach. If anything, he used to coach the old Team TK, who did the same thing.
I think when Lam was drafting before this, he drafted a balance support, but after they stopped drafters, now Old Chicken is drafting. He drafted more of the crazy stuff because he's the new breed of type of new players, like the younger players.
Yeah.
So they are more daring into trying something that no one else has done, and they have a lot of novelty ideas that, oh, I think this will work.
What
And
do you think
I
about
think
that?
for a team to
Turn
be
to
successful,
ban.
you need both. Like you need the experienced player, and you need the new player that wants to try stuff out.
What do you think about the Phoenix support then? In both the games that Ehome
Did he
played, they
go-
had Kaka
Yep.
play.
Did he go
Ehome's
Sunray
He
turn
went
to
1-1-3.
ban.
No, at level 7 he maxed it.
Yes.
Okay. I've seen a few teams that actually done that before because this patch got buffed like from 4% to 5%. So it's a huge deal.
That's 1%.
Yeah, but it's a really
That's
huge
more than.
10 seconds remaining.
Sorry, gods gave Archon. To
5 seconds remaining.
finish a game, I think. I'm not even sure what it was. But yeah, go on. That's a lot of
Yeah,
percent.
I mean, it's
In
really-
Dota, that's big.
I think it's really
Reserve
good
time.
at if you have a lineup where you have a tank, where you are healing the tank, it's really good. And I think I've experimented a different way of playing Phoenix, where in the laning phase, if you're a support, you get the Sunray early to zone the off laner out. I don't think you've seen that done
CDEC
in
turn
maybe
to
the
ban.
past year or so. It's mostly been recent that players have been experimenting getting the Sunray at level 1 to zone the off laner, which is really, really effective.
I love the way that you're telling me that with like just absolutely bright eyes. Just kind of
Yeah,
like, this is the coolest thing that I have done
10
in the
seconds
last 6
remaining.
months.
I haven't done it, but I had the experience of being on the
Whoa.
receiving
5
end of it.
When are you
seconds
gonna do it?
remaining.
When do you think you'll do it?
No, I was the receiving end of it. I
Yeah.
was getting zoned by Sunray.
But you
Reserve
thought mine.
time.
It was so cool.
Ehome's turn to
I
ban.
love it. All right, let's get back into the draft. We talked a little bit about Ehome in terms of what we can expect and some of the heroes that they've played. So this is the first time they're going to be playing OD this tournament, as far as Melanie, you mentioned.
10
so how
seconds
do you like the
remaining.
draft so far?
It's different than their other ones. It
5
seemed like they relied
seconds
too much
remaining.
on the Phoenix because he just got level 6 way too late, and they just lost all their lanes and all momentum
Reserve
before
time.
like 8 or 9 minutes in both of their games versus MVP Phoenix. So I think this game they want way more map control and they want more aggression from their supports. They also had a Crystal Maiden in one of the other games and just kind of passively farmed, and then they just lost all their lanes because no one moved around. So they want more movement, more aggression, not level 6 dependent.
And what I'm gonna look forward to this game for Ehome and also for CDEC is both of the teams kind of lacked fast-paced hero or heroes that can determine the pace of the game, and we saw XC actually do it in the first game today against Team Secret on his Void, which he, by the way, has played all 3 games, and he will probably play
Ehome's
that again
turn to pick.
today on the 4th game he plays, so that's going to be fun for him. But it is a hero that can determine the pace of the game, and I think for both teams that is going to be very important. It is one of those heroes that you say like relies on levels rather than specific farm. So I'm right now already favoring CDEC a bit more than Ehome purely for that reason.
Another thing we've seen, at least looking at the Secret CDC series, where it was always about the team fight, who had the bigger,
10
scary team
seconds
fight. And that, I
remaining.
mean, we've got Void, Ehome had the OD. It's still very early on in the drafting phase, and
5
heroes like
seconds
the
remaining.
Enigma, the Tide, etc. are still in the pool, but CDC kind of sticking to what worked for them in the
Reserve
previous
time.
series and what worked for Secret as well.
Yeah, saying that CDEC did, like they played team fight heroes previous game that they played against Secret that they actually ended
CDEC's
up
turn
losing.
to pick.
But they had a draft that was more specified for pickoff, so I had a Matuma again saying, or rather it was Crit that said, well, CDC, if we would have played CDC's heroes, we would have won that game against Secret. Easy. He was saying CDC is going to win every time until Secret started winning team fights. But the reason Secret started winning team fights was because CDC team fought them, and they shouldn't have because they
10
didn't have a better
seconds
team fight
remaining.
lineup. So as long as they draft for that, then they're going to be okay, at least if they
5
have better team
seconds
fight than
remaining.
Ehome. But I think for CDC, the biggest problem is falling into the playstyle of the team that they're facing.
Reserve time.
If that, like,
You mean like kind of CDEC don't really make all the moves, they just
yeah,
play it out?
they play actionary Dota, if you will.
Or they try to, like, they're so used to fighting, they're always drafting heroes that fight well. Then there's this one particular game, like you mentioned, that game they are not as strong as fighting, but
Yeah.
they still
They
try
still
to
try.
fight because they are used to it. Instead of like trying to, we are not having the same type of draft that we usually have, and we have to adjust. They're just doing the same thing. I guess that was what Crate was trying to
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, Viper, what do you think of that? Ben?
Ehome's turn to pick.
Ben thinks it's a distinct hero.
I think Viper's great. Bad about why is he disgusting?
Annoying to lane again.
It's super annoying to lane against. I mean, it's a great hero. Don't get me wrong. It's disgusting, but great. Winter's looking at people intently now.
10 seconds
Is it
remaining.
too low skill for you?
No, it's just very annoying to lane
5
against him.
seconds
That's why, like,
remaining.
because he doesn't have to do anything. You hit him and you get slowed. And he
It's
just-
no sudden rate.
Do you like him in the lineup?
Reserve time.
I mean, you've got Bounty Hunter in there.
I think
Jack Gold.
the reason they picked Viper here is they wanted to have a hero that can lane primarily against OD. But even Viper in certain situations, you might still struggle.
CDEC,
I'm not
turn
so
to
sure because
pick.
I remember my teammate told me that Viper can sometimes, even though you can pick Viper against OD, but sometimes OD still wins the matchup if you make a mistake in the lane. It doesn't mean that
So if
Viper,
you make mistakes, you can lose.
you can still
the
lose the
lane.
lane, yeah.
Wow.
It's not like a Viper like super favorite matchup, even though
Okay.
I think that they pick it just so to lane against the OD.
Okay. Do you like
10
it?
seconds
like,
remaining.
The Viper?
Yeah, I think it's the CDC. They go back to what their
5
playstyle. They want a
seconds
five. They want a
remaining.
5-man. They can pick the Gyrocopter. They're
Ehome's
great
turn
kind of
to
pick
ban.
Undying now as well. Just being able to deal with the Tombstone and flack down all the zombies.
Remember this
so
hero? It was banned all 3 games
Yeah.
by Secret
Yeah.
in the first phase.
I think it was maybe over prioritized in terms of the bans, and I think if not for the Undying, CDC may not have even picked it. It's hard to really know for sure. But as soon as the Undying
10
came up, I'm like, yeah,
seconds remaining.
they're going to Gyrocopter. It's just. And Ehome as well, like we would
5
know
seconds
that. So
remaining.
they don't seem to mind that they're picking Undying
So,
into it.
This game is like, again, both teams are
10
drafting so
seconds
heavy
remaining.
team fight, and Undying Night Stalker. This is something really
CDEC,
popular in
turn
the
to
previous patch
ban.
where you just put a lot of pressure on the off lane,
Mhm.
and especially when CDEC have a Bounty Hunter, you're going to roam one of your supports, so you
Yeah.
only have one lane support against Undying in Night Stalker, so your Gyro might have a bit of trouble. But luckily, Gyro is one of the carries that is
10
really good in the
seconds
lane.
remaining.
They need to be very careful of what
Ehome's
they
turn
the
to
supporting
pick.
partner. So they ban out the Witch Doctor as well. Well, one of the strongest laning supports in the game right now. But Ehome is really showing that they want to pressure the enemy safe lane heavily right now.
Yeah, and Undying and Night Stalker are both pretty resilient to the Bounty Hunter, who can sometimes pressure the safe lane as well. So, I mean, Bounty at this point is kind of limited to just poking at the
You
OD
can't
mid.
really help the lane though.
Yeah, like I'm kind of looking at it's like, where's Bounty going to help? Like
10
OD mid,
seconds
all he needs is
remaining.
a sentry there on his high ground, and he should be fairly safe. The Undying Night Stalker, there's
5
not much you can do.
seconds
And
remaining.
The Lion though, the Lion seems like a particular weakness
Yeah.
that the Bounty Hunter could focus on.
Is it one of those things that Bounty like really
Reserve
needs to
time.
start a fight though, or help? Is it, or was it just more like you need to get levels and not dying?
You need to make a difference in the laning
CDEC,
phase.
Okay,
so that
turn
you-
to pick.
Yeah, so that you get your level 6. Because if you don't do anything, it's going to take a long time
Yeah.
for you to reach the point.
Okay.
This
And
is-
Ursa.
Yeah, it's like the CTY hero. And to summarize why Ehome is such an unpredictable team and why it's so hard to kind of describe like how good they are, it's because of this CTY guy. He's just crazy. He just plays his hero pool is so
He played
versatile.
Lifestealer in game number 1.
He
It
plays
didn't really
Lifesteal.
work out though.
Wait,
It didn't, but he still
Life-
picked.
It's the
10
fact he'll play
seconds
Lifesteal.
remaining.
He'll play Anti-Mage. He'll play Ursa. He'll play just whatever
Yeah,
the
but-
hell Ehome want to pick
But
for him.
Blitz
And
Five
like this
seconds
before,
remaining.
like, he mentioned that Ursa is really good versus Void, because even if you take damage,
Yeah.
you backtrack, there's still the
Reserve
Earthlight's,
time.
buffer on you, so you
Yep.
don't actually remove that. So
10
that's
seconds
really good
remaining.
against Void.
Ooh. Then Winter Wyvern is really good against Ursa.
Yep. You
you
still
can't
you
put,
still stack
you still
the,
stack
yeah.
up the deep, but you do get time to actually kill the Ursa, or at least maybe kite him away.
Yeah.
You have the Viper already, which is a very great hero to kite the Ursa
Mhm.
around.
does the Fury Swaps work on your team? Mate, it doesn't apply to your teammate. Does it?
Oh, you mean when you get cursed?
Yeah, if you get
Oh, wait.
cursed.
I think it applies because I remember when Slark
Okay.
hits his own teammate, you still
Oh, he
stack.
still sounds.
Yeah. So
That's cruel.
That is actually nice.
yeah.
Okay, so for game number 1, number 2, be your couch number 2.
Couch number 2.
Couch number 2. Who's going to win and why? You have to agree. Come on.
I think Ehome.
Ehome? Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Ehome also based on purely just they're the better team. I
So
think.
that
10
leaves a
seconds
prediction.
remaining.
That
What
leaves
are we
us
doing?
no choice but to see.
Like, you've
5
been wrong all
seconds
day.
remaining.
Bring it on. Merlini Cal.
I'll go down with CDs.
Let's do this. We're doing everything together. So CDC.
Ursa's gonna get kited.
You
He's
have
gonna
to
be
agree.
useless.
You can fight if you want. Feel like both
I'm not in the mood with fighting with Ben now. So
Prepare for
CDEC?
battle.
Why?
I think that Ursa might just get kited away too
yeah,
much.
because of the Viper. The Viper might
in
be
the Winter one.
Okay, well, that's going to be the case as we go into game number 1 between Ehome and CDEC.
That's right, Ehome versus CDEC, a match that many would be forgiven if they were thinking they were watching the winner's bracket matchup. But no, this is actually the loser's bracket matchup. Probably two teams that you didn't really expect to be seeing facing up against each other. Capitalist and joined by...
Oh my god,
Oh, Jesus. Are they actually going to be...
no! They're gonna get spotted, there's no way.
There's no way. They start out with the
CDEC
early sentry ward. They're trying to bounce this one out. They have healing
going
cells.
on?
They've already taken out one of the sentry wards. Ehome is currently trapped right now. They're trying to fight this one out. Dota is already leading with a little bit of decay on both. They've got aggressive on top. They're actually going to be able to take him down here. They're going to be able to surround him. CDC, they just stumbled into a first blood traffic team. There's aggressive first to go down. He may be caught as well. Overlevel's going to be able to slow him down to the point. Ehome to keep on moving forward. Gardner uselessly trying to jump on Old Chicken. Managing to actually slow down the team long enough and get them away from the Winter Wyvern. Now trying to get away from the counter ward, but
The battle
ever
begins.
so barely with just 20 HP left. Ehome somehow, XC, he managed to get the bounty rune at least. This may actually be not the worst thing in the world if they can get both bounty runes. Should be able to get out with a quick time walk away, and we're all good to go now. What a weird way to start this matchup.
We had all these prepared statements.
Yeah.
Phoenix and how it was gonna play out, and then all of a sudden, Ehome goes for this level 1 roach strat, and I don't really understand why they felt these teams are gonna be somewhat ready for it, or at least the bounty hunter is gonna scout the accompanying area. So it was a little bit more dangerous for me, but it didn't really matter because there's no way CDEC knew that there was gonna be a 5-man room. Yeah, they probably just thought like, okay, we'll just send 1 or 2 of these through. And if this is no man's land, but old 11, 100% gonna go down here.
Being completely surrounded is going to be able to take out by the tri-lane of CDEC. But let's actually talk about some of those prepared statements now that the laning base has kind of played itself out. CDEC going back to some of what they used to know as picking up the gyrocopter and bounty hunter for CI.
Yeah, and it's more just designed to kind of help out their supports because the bounty hunter, one of those heroes that doesn't really fall under the support category necessarily, but he's going to be annoying, get in people's faces, force the enemy supports to be pretty poor. More than that, he just strengthens the lanes a lot. Like the Night Stalker never really knows when he can play up, and Old 11 is kind of a dangerous, live on the edge type of player anyway. He's the type of officer that's willing to but
He's being punished heavily here. He's going to go down at secondary time. Aggressive is the one to pick up the kill. And it seems like perhaps this Undying mid is not really working out so much for them. I think they expected the bounty hunter. In fact, we were talking about the idea of aggro dual lanes being a good way to be able to counter the bounty hunter and force things downwards, but this doesn't seem to be playing into Ehome's hands at all. They're actually keeping Kaka mid, and the bounty hunter is destroying bot.
And that's a really smart kind of game sense from Carter to say, okay, the guy's going to be mid, there's not a whole lot of opportunities for me to kill this OD, especially when he's got the Astral. I might as well go for this bottom lane, because Old 11,
Radiant's
he knows that
bottom
he's
tower
the type
is
of
under
player to get
attack.
really aggressive, but
What an unfortunate Invis rune, unless... it takes a long way around. Meanwhile, they're actually going to be able to chase down Old Chicken here pretty easily, has no infringement, and will be able to run down very fire for CDEC hitting hard here in the laning phase after giving up that first blood in that awkward Roshan scenario, but picking up both bounty runes. All the kills after that, they seem to be doing pretty well for themselves. XZ is doing pretty damn well against this dual lane. We were talking about how Lion as a heavy disabler is really quite strong against Faceless Void, able to kind of mitigate some of that power of Time Walk, but he seems to really know how to challenge this lane, and perhaps the Faceless Void time and time again. But is he going to be caught? No, easily able to get out once again.
yeah, the CTY just wasn't quite ready for that. And the Ursa's really good against the Void just because the Fury spikes continue to apply. But at the same time, the Lion and him have to sync up pretty well. And the Lion probably has to be level 3 before any sort of attempt like this happens. But I really thought it was going to be an off lane and dying to pair with the Night Stalker, put a little bit more pressure. You probably don't get a lot, but you force Garter to stay on the southern side of the map, and you prevent what just happened mid.
Do you think that was a bit of a stumble by Ehome, picking up the Undying with the Gyrocopter still out there in the pool? It's a hard hero to try and aggro lane against, particularly with the way that Black Cannon deals with Tombstone.
Yeah, I thought they could deal with the Lina pretty well with what they had. So I figured that they would ban out the Gyro.
Well, we have our first nighttime coming in. See if Old 11 is able to be a bit more useful at that bottom lane. Fortunately, no boots just yet. The off-lane Night Stalker does go a bit of a different build than the 4-position Night Stalker, and as such, Old 11 has just been left with his out shield so far.
Alright, so this OD usually does okay against Viper right now. Viper's already got the Ring of Aquila and almost the Mystic completed. And at that point, you're perfectly fine in this. The Viper can be somewhat self-sufficient, but in the draft itself, we were talking about how Ehome, the way that they play is a little bit wonky to begin with, and CDEC, they're Radiant, Void early on. Seems like they kind of practice this like one set style,
Right.
and it's really just dependent on like they take the Void and then from there on they roll with whatever they have. But prior to their series, like when they played against Secret, they were giving Shiki like the semi-carry mid, and I feel like this kind of dominated one mid overall, and they're gonna make the attempt on Old Chicken.
Darko's going to be able to meet him though, and they actually had the Sentry Ward out, but not able to really catch much there. They get the stun onto Shiki, but it's only a level 1, so it doesn't mean much, and CDC back up pretty freely, but...
This Lion really has to get his level 3.
But yeah, the more aggressive style mids, right, for Shiki, this is why he was so dominant on Lina. We've seen some success of the Puck as well. That seems to be a strong play from him as kind of fits his playstyle. Q is going to be chased down by Old 11 here. Shouldn't have any issues though. In fact, it's going to be Old 11 who's got to be careful not overextending himself once again.
Man, Ehome's just getting shut down around the map, and I put a lot of this on Garter. He's just making so many different rotations that are working out. It feels like he's just everywhere on the map right now. So CDEC, you know, they've got the upper hand when it comes to these rotations, whereas Ehome are playing almost entirely reactionary cap.
Yeah.
Like they're saying to themselves, okay, our bottom lane needs help, but we're already mid. So then we'll start heading kind of to that bottom section of the map, but there's no skill opportunity there. And then while that's happening, Garter's already on the move to the mid lane, and he's killing the OD. So he's still a little bit too far behind, and now Lanam is gonna...
That's a very big deal. Garter easily spots him out. Well, that's going to be the Tombstone down as well. That's a huge increase of gold there for aggressive, and they're going to be able to keep more pressure on that tier 1 tower. Once again, Garter is in the right position every single time. He just seems to be one of the fastest supports when it comes to rotating and making kills happen during the laning phase. Really setting the tempo match.
And a Bounty Hunter usually, it's a little bit difficult to run just because teams are so willing to 5-man early on and play objectives against the Bounty Hunter there. They're running it in. Old 11
he got picked off earlier, but he got his level 6, and that's all that really needed to be able to successfully gank up that middle lane. And once again, Old Chicken does go down.
Oh, did CTY miss the smoke? Oh no!
Illusion. I think he popped it.
That's so bad. He was gonna go for the Roshan right there, and now CTY is kind of confused. He's saying to himself, okay, I've traveled all the way here, I TP'd, we used the smoke for this, now what? So he's just gonna make his way back to top. Lanam might actually get spotted.
Is he gonna fight him? Oh god, he's gonna do Lanam. He's gonna have to drain some mana before he has to take. He's actually gonna be taken out first, not able to finish off Lanam in time. CTY able to get there in time to save his favorite support, and now Garda came through.
That was such a weird position. No one had thought that CTY was gonna be there.
Is he trapped? He knows he has to stay in the tree somehow. Juke Old 11 will come down eventually, and Old 11 will find him. He has the void still. He's going to raise it out, pile him up, and should be able to right click him down.
Radiant's top tower
Old
is
11
under
is
attack.
mid, and daytime now pops. No, walks away, ever so there.
That's gotta hurt. Old 11 is just
Radiant's
really
top
hurt
tower
his team so
is
far
under
with
attack.
going 0-3 and 1. He picked up some levels, but the amount of deaths that he has in the offlane so far, really hard to justify that kind of performance. But Garter, seeing the replay here is
easy pick off left and right. Just it seems like as a whole Ehome are just not able to to really find much of a footing
Dire's
there to
bottom
pick off on
tower
Garter
is
was
under attack.
pretty inconsequential.
Dire's
Let's talk
structures
about the
are
Ursa, though.
fortified.
That's definitely one of the heroes that, you know, you go back perhaps a month or two ago and you wouldn't have seen a whole lot of, but nowadays we're seeing a lot more Ursas wake up, specifically with this Mass Commander. So what is it about Ursa that is really a
Dire's
strong
bottom
pick right
tower
now?
is under
And his
attack.
ultimate pretty much does quite well. He's one of those carries that can really help us support out just because one's done and he's able to move on anybody. And the
Dire's
workout
bottom
potential is so
tower
high
has
that
fallen.
you can set the game tone and play incredibly fast, but
Right. He's really strong on the Dire.
you know, he's got the corrosive skin, you get a mech, you get some tanky items, but
This is going to be a constant game spot, it seems, as pretty much everyone is trying to run some sort of aggressive ward. If you're running an offlaner who's going to be farming up those offlane camps, know that the enemy is going to try and get an aggressive ward to spot that out and gank you time and time again, because while you're doing it, you're probably sitting at about a half HP
Radiant's
until
top
that
tower is under
Morbid
attack.
Mask is up for Faceless Void.
Dire's
You're
middle
just chipping
tower
away at
is
its
under
own
attack.
HP point.
right now, CDEC are in a pretty great position actually. They haven't even had to rely on Bounty track hold, and they've got a decent gold lead that they've built up so far. For Ehome, they're getting their Ursa involved. Really important. He's been a part of all 4 kills right now. You want to pump him up to full of levels if you can, and respond to this though.
There's one TP, 2 more, now they get a couple of nukes, but it's still just too much slow coming out from that gyro ult. They're going to try and run down one more. Garter's going to show himself real quickly, get off the shuriken, and now ult shaking it. Quite low now, your ult spear. XD coming in, good field block down to the rest of the killed quite easily. Meanwhile, Viper does go farther down as CTY and Lana were able to pick him off, but still, that's a big win for CDEC, not only getting the big mid of Ehome, taking the OD out of play, which is so critical, right? Because OD as a mid is much more of kind of that carry later on into the game past 25 minutes.
Honestly, that's just so demoralizing that you dive past a tier 2 for this like level 5 undying. Nobody on your team can respond, and when they finally do come and respond, the Void is just there. And XC has been the star so far for CDEC throughout the first 3 games that they played against Secret, and he kind of continues on. And that Void chrono,
Perfect timing from XC. Great rotation by him.
it almost gives the level 6 to the Bounty Hunter too.
Big pickup at CDEC's kind of aggressive playstyle is really going to be able to play off of that bounty goal. Another big thing is that CDEC, their aggression right now is completely shutting down Roshan opportunities for Ehome. This is supposed to be kind of this snowball effect that Ursa, as a carry, is able to implement more so than any other carry, but CTY just hasn't found his opening yet.
And Garter has just been annoying. He's been playing on this side of the map. Same with the rest of his team. You notice that Q and Cressy, they don't really invade the safe lane like they normally do. They just play around their jungle area, around this bottom safe lane, so that they can respond to it instantly. You want to make absolute sure that Ehome can't go for that free Roshan. It's one of their few ways back into the game. You want to deny it if you can. Kind of play this pressure game at all times. Pressuring Ehome just by denying that Roshan. And Ehome's like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do now? A lot of this game is now going to focus on the 11. He's got to make some kills happen at the top.
He's trying to go for Garter. He will be able to pick up this kill, but it's going to be sacrificed. He will be able to get the counter, and that is definitely not worth the trade-off. Keeps the Bounty Hunter from getting level 6, but obviously Viper's pretty happy with that pick.
Overall, goal change going in favor of CDEC.
But that was a rotation, right? Seeing the Viper there in the top lane does allow an opening finally for Ehome to slide into the Roshan pit and see if they can take it real quickly with this Mask Madness and Rage.
This is one of your few great opportunities that you have. You forced everybody over, old 11, kind of playing that highlight die roll, willing to die just to force everybody over, but you've got to be ready for the fight.
See, he's almost there. Notice there's going to be close to get on the hex. First, and then start going out and hang up everything, and Ehome now gonna get the great with this first coming out. Perfect time to do some of they'll take him out, and there playing up the gyrocopter. They get him out, once he gets him down, but CTY, he's on right next to CDEC. He's still looking to take him out after this point from Q is over. They're going to be able to slow him down a little bit more. The handles are tidying around CTY beautifully, and Cheeky, he knows he's got this kill in the back. Oh, he turned too early, and CTY will pick up the kill before he dies. Meanwhile, Kaka, he's having a support battle out with Gardner, who's Shuriken, needs a little bit more damage. He's going to dive in deep for this one. He knows he's got a little bit of heal. Kaka will be able to survive this start, who's forced away, and Nuke comes out from the Winter Wyvern, but it's not in time. Kaka will be able to retreat successfully.
Cheeky, you greedy bastard.
I was like, I can't believe he turned around like that. That was he did not expect the one charges.
Not even the trigger on this, so he could have just moved 2 feet forward.
Yep.
Like continue, the Viper Strike was on him, he can create distance, and then you can play the kite game with your poison attack, but still, overall, it does okay there because they took up the Roshan, that's a decent golden fusion, but CDEC.
But it's not like Ehome are going to be able to brutalize that. I mean, they just got shut out in the fight. Looks like Q is probably going to be able to get away here from the Night Stalker. Blink Dagger, but a good Cold Embrace actually stopped that aggression. And the forced away. In fact, that though, with a phase boost Mask of Madness combination, you just go up to like max movement speed so easily.
They probably.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Hitting the Smith tower is still
Radiant
one of
structures
the
are fortified.
powers that teams are just going to contest
Dire
for.
structures are fortified.
And they're going to get the full power of this. And it's pretty significant for Ehome.
Radiant's
Already
top
soaking up
tower
a lot of
has
these
been denied.
gate charges. Full chicken TP ready in 5 seconds. So is Lion. And the tower is about to go down.
Dire's middle tower has
Ehome
fallen.
are not going to be able to contest.
Ehome just take that top tower instead.
Yeah.
You can see it as a 1-for-1 tower trade, and in that context it's okay, but much more valuable taking the tower than it is.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with XD is going to be next up with a nice long-range initiation there from Monica. Oh, no! Down and Mercy, he's going to be able to run down. A lot of people just need to abandon his teammates. Mercy's got one to the back. The other one, he's going to be able to take down
Radiant's top
Monica as
tower is under attack.
That was back-to-back track to do for the Bounty Hunter and 4 teammates that are readily available there too. Most of the time, I feel like this Winter Wyvern hero really fallen off.
Radiant's
but the way that
bottom
he's using
tower
the Golden
is under
Breaks
attack.
and the way that he used the Winter's Curse in the Roshan pit fight almost makes it look okay.
Yeah, the way that Ursa is such a
Radiant's courier has been killed.
bursty physical damage
Dire's
dealer.
top tower
Like
is under
once you
attack.
have just that 4
Dire's
seconds disabled,
structures are
the Golden
fortified.
Braid that just kind of stops
Radiant's
his focus
middle
on
tower
one
is
hero
under
and
attack.
destroys him. He's not really
Dire's
able
top
to
tower is under
move out
attack.
from there.
For Ehome, the bright spot is that CTY is still getting a lot on the map. The Blink Dagger and Mask of Madness timing is pretty strong.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
One from behind.
Nice pick off on Carter is going to be starting off here. Meanwhile, Kaka's trying to draw the damage, but again, the throws are causing issues. Now they're going to be able to catch one here easily. They have the Winter's Curse laid out on the whole distance. But XD, 5-man chrono, and now CDEC gonna make some huge turnaround, taking out 2 at least. They're gonna wait for Mono, controlling him again to get up an inhale, but it doesn't matter. It's not gonna be enough to save anybody. Only the Ursa will survive. CDEC once again bailed out by XD's beautiful timing.
After half a second there, Ehome, they're getting back into this game. You should have ditched that Viper. You're not gonna be able to save him. XD comes out of nowhere, gets a 5-man chrono off. How often do you see that happen? Is Ehome, they're trying to consolidate their strength, but instead drop 4.
You can
gonna be a
CDEC, like they're just kind of baited out. He was like, oh, there's curse, beat it up into 5. XD's almost there, gets the chrono. And now at this point in time, CDEC after a huge win like that are going to be able to lever that into some more map control. They're going to be able to take the tier 2 and top, it looks like, unless Ehome really feel like contested once again, which they are. They're going to try and smoke and go for that fight. It's not nighttime either, which is a little bit disconcerting, but yeah.
That was the issue too in the first fight.
Radiant's
They
middle
pick up
tower
harder,
is under
and then they
attack.
think, even if we get a somewhat even fight, it's okay because it's not going to be bounty hunter tracks. Kind of counterbalancing, and they're leading in XP and gold, so they're not going to go for this, but it should have just been maybe 1 or 2 hero pickoffs.
Invisibility!
Can we talk about perhaps is this a little bit of dysfunction coming out from CDC and item builds? Garter,
Good double.
yeah, they're both going for the mech.
Yeah, I don't think DC.
It's a little bit too close too. That leaves that Copper alone ends up giving an extra kill now to Ehome.
Good news for Ehome right now is that they're still making game-winning plays. Like, they're still trying to go for these 5-man engagements, look for 2 or 3 heroes, pick it off. And CDEC aren't quite ready for that. Picking up the gyrocopter too is a really significant pickup for them. Allow your OD to get back into the game, your Ursa to climb a little bit more in XP. The good news for them is that CTY is still really farmed. I assume that's a BKB. I don't imagine it being anything else. But once you get BKB,
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's tower is under attack.
Pitching out the Faceless Void and trying to split push up that top tower. That early Ethan really coming into play. Lana able to pick that one up has actually resulted in multiple pickoffs now.
he always gets it nowadays. The arcane boots still up, making really effective. Right now, Ehome doing okay, considering how this game started and how many full net pickoffs CDEC have been able to find. The XP is nearing 0, gold is still around 5k, but if you've got Ehome's lineup, you're still feeling pretty comfortable.
Right. Being said though, Ehome, a lot of their progression is right now on the Ursa, who is going to have a bit of a falling off. Not nearly as much as the old Ursa, but you do want to rely a little bit more on your Outworld Devourer going into past like 30, 45 minutes.
Damage!
And that's a little bit concerning because he's only sitting at 6,300 net worth. He hasn't progressed too much.
It's okay though, because I would normally say yeah to the Ursa thing, but because he's playing against both a Viper and a Gyro form, the Ursa is always going to be effective against both of them.
Right.
You notice that Shiki, despite how much of a height and all that, and corrosive skin, he goes down incredibly fast in the Ursa.
Yeah, this is a general change-up. Oh, a level 11. Is he actually going to be taking this? No, that's going to be a smoke that's kind of wasted there for CDEC. I mean, the pickoff by itself, because it's an off-lane Night Stalker, not a 4 position, would have been okay for CDEC, but they don't even get that much.
I think they weren't even trying to really run into him. They were looking for a pickoff around that Roach timing area. And then if Roach runs up, they can go for that, or they can even go for this tier 2. The Night Stalker would have been big just for the vision game.
Radiant's bottom tower
Shiki
is
is
under
actually
attack.
going to go for an Axe Viper, something that we haven't seen in quite some time. This is kind of the older Viper now. This is just purely because of the
Dire's middle tower
of the
is
Ursa
under
pick.
attack.
Yeah,
Right.
casting.
Radiant's bottom
Right.
tower is under attack.
So CDC feeling that they still have momentum in this game, which is right. And they have to accomplish a lot because again, this Ursa caused a lot of things for them later on in the game. CCY's already got his BKB completed now too.
Okay, it's sitting off map for now. Get TP back, pick up that BKB, and they'll actually be ready to fight. This means CDC really need a strong initiation. They do have plenty of disables that go through BKB though, so this won't be a guaranteed win for Ehome with this fresh item pickup.
I sort of think Ehome, CDC has to be really careful. XD has been clutch for them in all of these engagements, but you can only rely on that so frequently. It's actually kind of incredible that Ehome is still doing really well in this game, and it just kind of goes to show that Ehome are finding better individual pickoffs when they find them, and most importantly, they're
UI just looking straight up to the secret shop, just trying to see here. They're actually going to be able to save him there with the imprisonment. Over 11 trying to drop right back. C2Y blown up the power a share of their damage. C2Y being the target of Winter's Curse, but he got off the BKB. He's just keep on running through. Chronosphere that's going to be purely zoning out Ehome, preventing Ehome from being able to chase down the rest of these heroes. But XD, who was hit by the slow, so it looks like he is going to be sacrificed here as a golden brace. Q, maybe he gave up his line. He does have the force staff. He's going to be able to get a TP out. Old 11 can't stop it in time. So they get 2 of the cores of CDEC. And Ehome are now going to be in a position to finally take down that Radiant mid tower that's been up for so long.
so go for the Roshan first.
True.
I think it matters more right now in the context of the game, because the Void is down, the Photo's down, you can get that mid tower right after this. It's going to be there. But this Roshan, you want to absolutely secure for your team. But Ehome are looking really
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
now. It looks like they're down in kills. it looks like they're giving up a little bit. They didn't lose any of their main objectives. They didn't give up Roshan, so CDEC can go for really early tier 2 tower or anything like that. They didn't give up any of their tier 2 towers, even despite being 4-man white. Like, they instantly re-engage, smoke up this 5, they find a 2-man picked off on aggressive, they buy themselves more time, then they take that Roshan fight with the help of their BKB on Ursa, they get the Aegis.
And this is kind of Ehome's specialty, right? In that they are so good at being able to come back in the mid to late game and be able to afford to lose some of their lanes.
It's just this insane style where it's bend don't break. If what I feel like good against the other 2 cores at all times, and you're going to notice this throughout the tournament, he's always going to have these favorable matchups where it feels that even though the laning phase isn't going great for his team, he can have this.
What about this pickup from the Ursa? He's got a point booster. I expected that. I expected Scythe of Ice to be a pickup. Grab the Gyrocopter, blow him up. You know, be able to prevent these heroes from hiding around. But
Better pressure.
Yeah, that too. But you know, either one of those. It's really good against the.
You can pop it no matter what, right?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I think it's only like.
So maybe for the Void Chrono.
Not sure about the Void Chrono.
It's picked so sparingly that I'm not even sure when you can.
Dire's top tower is
I mean,
under
is there
attack.
any chance that it's like
Radiant's
Guardians
bottom
or
tower
Rapid?
is under attack.
I mean, the slow would be okay. It just feels like hard to disable.
I think you want to play on the offensive here anyway.
Yeah. BKB
Dire's
almost
top tower
complete
has
for
been
aggressive,
denied.
but it's 25 minutes in. His farm has been a bit dwindling as he's been ripped apart by the Ursa multiple times.
Starter's got a 4-staff, pretty significant support pickup. They've got a 4-staff on
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
the Winter Wyvern as well. So these aren't completely poor supports or anything like that, but net worth-wise, they're not even doing that great compared to this line who's got Aetherland's Blink already. And he's level 11 too.
That Blink pickup is going to be perhaps so much more critical than CDEC's 4-staffs. Because of the way that if they get the right kind of initiation, right, they pick off the Gyrocopter before DKB or they take out the Void Chronosphere.
Dire's bottom
fight
tower
one.
is under
Ehome's
attack.
gonna hit the timing too. When they get their Ags on hold 11, and they're gonna pick up whatever item on CTY, plus got a BKB, I'd imagine, on Old Chicken. And CDC are gonna be really hard pressed to take that fight. It's just so demoralizing right now. You've built up a decent lead, you're controlling tempo, and all of a sudden you lose 2 fights, and home tempo is running. And that's what we said in the pregame show as well. This bend don't break style where they're able to hold on just enough so that TTY, playing whatever core he is, can counter your 2 cores.
The 5-man smoke into mid.
Dire's
realize
middle tower
that
is under
Ehome
attack.
are actually all bottom. They're not in position to
Dire's
completely defend that
structures
tier
are
2 tower.
fortified.
And perhaps North should.
Radiant's bottom
Ehome
tower
are going
is
to try
under
and
attack.
wrap around here. The Glyph is going
Dire's
to be
middle
running out
tower
though.
is under attack.
They are actually in an okay position
Dire's
to try
middle
and
tower
jump
has
CDC,
fallen.
but you
CTY
don't want to be
is
going high ground. Up there, but they can get the force down on the CT, buying a little bit more time, but they're still going to be blown up. They go to break. They eventually are going to go down.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Now I see
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
so much work. The Winter's Curse on CTY was just a sliver of APF, but it's Mercedes still trying to fight out some of the supports, but they got it controlled up. Without that DKB, they can't do anything more. Kaka's going to be able to stay alive, and CTY managed to pick up the kill on that Winter Wyvern without dropping that Aegis.
5-man team wipe, all you lose is the OD, and that's what's funny though. Old Chicken just strolls in, he's like, I got this guy.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Blown up, but it doesn't even matter because CTY still had the Aegis the entire time through. CDEC that engagement was going to happen, even without the CDC tower available. Ehome, they have the Night Stalker, it was nighttime, on top of that they had to
Radiant's middle tower
almost no
has
chance that they're going
fallen.
to win that fight.
CTY now has the opportunity to get that Ag way that they just could not seem to blow up CTY, and even if they did, it wouldn't have mattered. The Aegis was still a go, and the only reason that that fight looked at all okay for aggressive in particular was because of that 10-second PKB. The moment it ran out, You just got destroyed by the disables of the Lion.
That's really critical too. The way that CDEC run it is this first BKB timing, the 10-second one, matters a lot to the cap. That's the coherence.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Skill as well as Gyro is, for example.
Taka, he's going to be going down here, CDC, with a rather sneaky 5-man TP into that tier 1 tower. They knew that Ehome was going to be making the rotation across. That being said, they didn't actually gain that much out of it. It was heavy rotation. All they picked off was support and kept that tier 1 alive.
The Ehome is deceptive. We talked about this even before this game when we were in our room. We were saying that Ehome, they let you take these little kills. They let you kill old 11.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
8 or 9 kills.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are falling. Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
That has some TPs back from Ehome. As CTY is going to be last man in.
Is under attack.
Winter's laid out old ticket, barely clipping himself as he tried to blink forward to catch one more. See if they can actually get it with a nice shot. Oh, nice stun from Lana. He saw that one coming. Shiki put himself in the caught out the that would be another critical takeoff as CDEC lose 2. They try to put the high ground for that.
Again, Viper, survive. The kiting aspect only exists when you're so massively far ahead that doesn't really matter then in any case. Of course, they're not really getting anything out of it. First gonna go for BKB eventually, but the Ursa will still rip them to shreds.
It looks like they're going to continue along the lines of trying to kite the Ursa. Aggressive is now going for
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Is it too late to complete the SNY?
The main reason you go for the Yasha here is just for the mobility drums, so that you can kite and your teamfight potential is high. You can chase down with the rocket barrage, but
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
then I think you're gonna lack the damage.
11. He is so close to that axe. A little bit surprised he's not able to try and push without it, but looks like they'll be okay. CTY managed to get himself out of that bind again with that axe upgrade. The rage, he's just able to walk it off like that.
Actually going for the defusal. Like
Gold and sweet.
his preferred build was in the other game too. At least skipping the point, but
You got to deal with
Always gonna go
particularly that silence from old 11, right?
ooh, Manta. Hey, I feel like it's way too late for that item, but Yashka it is. The Night Stalker now completes the Aghanims. He's got Vlad and a gem to complete it. The Lion has a staff coming, the Undying, Ghost Scepter, and a mech. Everybody's just so farmed right now from you. Figured that this Undying kind of plays a hard fight position and
They wouldn't be able to pick up that much,
Yeah,
but he's just been able to survive through so many of these engagements, in part because of his allies. The excellent timings by Lana to come in with the right disable or multiple OD imprisonment. Jump in and catch down the left, but it's really going to be It's going to be a trade-off.
Dire's structures
That gem with the Q1 already coming from behind is going to make sure that it isn't an easy fight for CDEC to be able to push the game. He's actually done that, broken up. Nice gun from Lana once again. Knocked out for himself to the front line. Won't think he has that on finish. Before dropping Blue to the Squadron. Once again, that Brett in range up. Challenged by Gardner, but has realized he's got to run himself the hell away. Surrounded by Ehome. Backing up that gem. They're actually going to try and go for a little bit more old chicken, though. Not able to reach Shiki in time. This is going to be Roshan number 3 now for Ehome.
CBD here just getting shish kebab in every single fight. They have one of the next buckets. That's the good you could hope that that's an okay engagement, but I think they're trying to fast realize the position that they're in. That fight's almost
Spirit of the first bear burns in the wind.
because of the Aghanim Scepter, the rage was already up by the time that the BKB was it's almost like he's invincible.
Possibly enraged into BKB, into another enrage.
Exactly. And you're killing this hero is just taking a lot out of him. They have to use a Void Chrono to set up the initial kill because he doesn't have a Wound Dagger, so you can't really rely on him to find the backline like you normally would with a Void. So you take what you can get in that situation. Ehome are just winning every single fight from here on out.
Now, this is something I've seen from multiple pubs as the teams were kind of getting ready for this major, the OD Octarine Corps.
What are your thoughts? It's really strong. It gives you a ton of mana, a ton of intelligence to work with.
You managed to lifesteal off of the Arcane Orb as well. Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, right? Is that you take off and drop the ultimate. If that's up a bit earlier, Ehome will have a faster tempo. Just a shady break for now for CDEC. XD comes in, looks to get the chrono on two, but there's still Iki White. Right now, it's on top of Iki. Got that English. Already, and here comes the rest of Ehome. Pushing forward after that chronosphere. Gonna be able to catch multiple heroes on out. Iki, he's trying to rotate away. It looks like it's Ehome. Chicken. Alright, he might not be able to get him. He, meanwhile, taken out by Lanham. Old left. No, he really wants to get a break. That they will be able to get him. Viper has had to retreat all the way to the Dire. He's put himself up on the trees. Will be able to fly himself out of the way. Quick to catch him every single time. Lion has been on point. The one fight for Ehome. We're going to be turning the fighting run very soon.
They were actually lucky that they didn't lose the Viper right now. And just another, I think that's the 5th or 4th consecutive fight that they've lost. Even then, it looked somewhat okay. The problem is that CTY is playing this role of the wall. Just runs in, the rest of his team has to deal with him. XZ's like, guys, I've got a 3-man chrono over here. They're just like, we can't. What do you want us to do?
Yeah, you run through the Ursa. That's not going to be a feasible plan. And now Ehome still has constant rage. This is why they had so many of those forced staff pickups. So necessary to be able to
Radiant
stay allies against the quite fast Ursa.
Just trying to force them back because he is the Aegis. You want to high ground
Dire's
the
top
hero
tower
anyways.
is under attack.
You want to put him between, time and time again, you see what he's doing. He's putting himself between CDEC and the rest of his teammates.
Right.
Just create this barrier where either you lose a hero or you have to run past them.
I mean, you've got some pretty good blast fans. Old Chicken, you also have the Lion sitting in the background as well. These are heroes that can dish out amazing amount of disables and damage if they just have that kind of frontline hero. CTY is making sure that's always the case. And now he's even tankier and harder to get away from. Scott picked up for CTY now.
Fully completed Scotty, already ramps himself up 3.2k HP. Most importantly, Cat, you BKB on top of the Ags, like we already talked about the interaction where you can just do one after another. And most importantly, Ag's got just pure HP.
Do you think that the idea behind the Ag fight works? If he'd actually been able to forego the Mag and then not go the Ags and go more of a damaging build that we've seen from Vipers before, perhaps he goes for the early F supply, that sort of thing, would that have been a better plan to be able to deal with the Ursa in the late game, or was it just never feasible to challenge Ehome this late?
I don't think could have really challenged them to begin with, like this later on into the game. First was just going to be kind of running away.
Right.
And he's going to get chased down so easily, but CTY doesn't just go off the
Double blink initiation. They're probably expecting CTY to be the one who comes out and tries to pop a hero, but Ehome changed things up this time around.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
See how scared they are. It's a nice trying to deal with him. Nice chronosphere, but a whole 120 not aggressive problem. Not so nice after all. The first goes out. BKB runs right on through and right down to red season.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I love it. trying to get away. Old Chicken is going to be left.
Radiant's bottom
Not
tower
going to
is under attack.
either. Too many slows. Ehome perhaps just a bit too over-aggressive.
Radiant's
Diving
bottom
behind
tower has
tier 4
fallen.
towers just to pick off individual kills. They don't even bother going for the tier 3 mid initially. I think that was a little...
Whoa, Gardner! That is definitely a gem. We're trying to kite him around as much as possible. Tiki is so slow. Unfortunately, they will have to deal with him this time around. Ehome, can't believe they stuck around for that. They just lost 2, and then they still have the confidence to try and take a fight, get some sort of pick up of the bounty hunter, which is very clearly a bait from CDEC.
That was straight up insanity by Ehome. They got way too overconfident, and probably more than that, they probably just got overhyped. A lot of these guys are still somewhat new to Dota, playing at this kind of level, and so they're probably just like, you know, let's get these guys. They're gonna give up soon. We want every fight. Whatever.
What about this Crimson Guard pickup from Bounty Hunter? I mean, we usually see some sort of utility deals. It's usually the mech. We're talking about that little bit of interaction between the Viper and the Bounty Hunter. Both of them like to try and pick up the mech.
Dyer's middle tower is under
so
attack.
instead it goes to different utility. Crimson Guard. The game. I'm not sure, but it looks like it's gonna happen. It's down unless they're just gonna buy back. Oh, there goes. Buyback comes in. They're now going to GG out. Aggressive doesn't have the DKB anymore, so there's nothing really protecting here unless the punish here go all the mid, but CTY, he doesn't actually get caught. First down, then he's going to come in. XP tries to challenge Old Chicken. No, he has got no damage to do so. And CDEC just need to try and make some sort of distraction, but of course, Ehome has these blink daggers. They have the Night Stalker as well. CDEC may be forced to fight running at it. Drop by Old Chicken. He's just down so much repellent at a certain point. It was going to move down everyone inside CDEC. And now it's going to try and find as many of those as possible. They get every single one of them. Don't drop a beat.
For a second, just this brief second, and like CDEC, they're doing it. They force CTY to buy back. Hiding.
Radiant's top tower is under
attack.
attack.
Keep force staffing backwards. Then the hammer just dropped from the Owl Devourer.
And we were talking about it. I have to do with that OP eventually.
He's a monster
CDEC,
now.
this is like the third fight in a row where I felt like, you know, they just had to get that one.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And they just never seem to want to do so. They always kind of get caught. They seem to be torn when it comes to backing away.
Radiant's
and,
top tower is under
They have
attack.
the hard commit as well for Tombstone. I think they've been using
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
It was pretty damn well.
and that
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
CDEC, they really don't want to have to buy back, but they're so close up anyways.
Yeah, sorry about this. They didn't have his buyback, so now they're just gonna try and jump forward. Managed to draw a little bit of time away from their bottom lane rack, so it looks like Ehome are going to have to go home without that prize. XD be able to catch somebody here. Tombstone is going to be laid out. CDEC not going to be able to charge past that one.
And
that is a clean extraction right there.
I wish they only lost one rack for that. In CDEC, they still have some win condition, which is the crazy part.
Yeah, you're right.
And you just go for it. Maybe you've got an opportunity here. I think if there's any time to play aggressive right now, it's right now. You go for a smoke or something, try to find the Ursa and win.
Kill CTY, Roshan's coming up. I mean, those are two different timings that CDEC are actually in a pretty advantageous position, seeing as they didn't blow any buybacks.
Look at they're going for the smoke.
Yep.
Find CTY. This is it's crazy right now that CDEC still have a win condition, being down 15k and against the Ursa. They're gonna check the Roshan pit, but it's not gonna be up for a full minute. Ursa's gonna complete a basher. Personally, for CDEC, doesn't have it on the point yet. They're just looking in the wrong direction right now. Might even get flanked here if they break the smoke, farm some creeps to push in the mid wave.
They're just sitting together mid right now.
They're gonna
If they
clash.
could have been at this. The fight could still go okay. Obstacle lays down the tombstone. Eventually, Zero knows that this is not a fight. But that's not going to be the target. He just pulled and braces himself. And braces is now. He's going to run it down now. now. Old Chicken on the Divas, but this seems to be a fight that Ehome are a little bit too spread. Oh, he gets taken out as he gets bashed up. It's going to be next is BKB going to town. Another bash. Old Chicken Diva back. Diva's on in. Going to be able to catch the Viper on the way out as well. And XD, he's not getting away. He's been completely drained by luck. He knows he's only open to potentially kill on him, but that's not going to happen. He keeps his distance. 4 down from CDEC. And now Ehome are definitely going to be forcing some sort of buyback. So he's going to take Roshan, get that cheese, go to the mid, and CDEC is only going to buy back the Viper.
Got to put it up to Ehome. Take the second cheese. You try to
Radiant's middle tower is under
how
attack.
likely that is. At worst,
Radiant has fallen to the dark.
Immortality.
Mario to play from.
I was
Looking at the
meant
fight,
to
it
have
looked so good.
this.
The way the CDEC were very grouped up, they were controlling the fight pretty damn well. They got the pick off on Conka. They turned to go for the Night Stalker. Like, Old Chicken just really doesn't manage to get off really good whatsoever. Ehome a bit too spread, and then he comes back and drops that ultimate. It was just so much damage. And that double Chronosphere looked good, but between the buybacks there.
Look at Bottom's position in this fight. He's on the side. He's
Radiant's
just annoying them
bottom
like
barracks
crazy.
are under
He gets
attack.
cut off on 3 heroes during the Chronosphere time, so they can't utilize it as much as they could have.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
Ehome are just gonna back off. Engage.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Have taken the important racks at bottom lane. Yeah, they're
Back and forth game.
And again, this is a situation. They don't have buybacks because of fuel. But if CDEC can actually get that fuel, they've still got a really good shot at being able to find some sort of win condition here. A minute and a half until Ursa's buyback is up, and then you still have another 5 minutes for both the Undying as well as the OD. But it looks like Ehome are still going to try to find the initiation old 11. That's just with the holding the 2 carries. Chronosphere on top. CDC, they're just ignoring the big damage here. They're dealing with all the support from behind. They've already caught 2. Now he's going to fight it out of Red. He's going to take another carry. Now the pure damage is matching him to take out the top carry. Cheeky is having to deal with CTY once again, but he just can't seem to lose this bear. There's right on his tail. The starter, he's not going to get down either. That's going to be... Whoa! CDEC just heroes, but I realized that this is just not possible to fight anymore. It's too late.
That was an experience. They were somehow able to make a game out of it, but really exciting game 1.
And Ehome, as you were talking about, they managed to bend and did not break. In fact, they break CDEC. What our analyst desk has to say, what went wrong for CDEC and what did Ehome do right?